All right, and now we have now we have Steve Harvey who decided that he'd respond to Katt Williams' assertion that
8 months
Steve Harvey
later.
was out here stealing jokes. And Steve Harvey made an appearance at what was this event that Steve Harvey made an appearance at? Um, he
Uh,
was at uh he was at what's the name of this thing? I'll find
Two-pay
it.
convention, the two-pay convention. What was it? Harry's convention. What it was?
Uh, it was some kind of convention. But we'll go ahead and talk about it, and I'll probably read it along the way. But Steve
Okay.
Harvey is coming out and responding to Katt Williams' assertions going way back to when Katt was on Club Shay Shay, talking
Mm.
about how Steve Harvey is essentially talentless and is a joke stealer. And I guess after all of these months, Harvey is responding to these allegations. So this says Steve Harvey finally fires back at Katt Williams with a strong message. Steve Harvey has finally fired back at Katt Williams for the bombshell criticism he leveled at him during an appearance on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp earlier this year. He addressed his fellow comedian while speaking at Invest Fest. That's what it was.
Ah, that's
Invest Fest in Atlanta over the weekend. In doing so, he offered to turn their rivalry physical. You'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that, Harvey remarked to Stephen A. Smith while discussing Williams. He then joked about his fighting skills before adding, I'll knock your short ass out. When the Neighborhood Talk posted the clip on Instagram, fans mainly took Williams' side in the comments section. He definitely feels away. The cursing and name calling shows it. Katt never called that man out his name, but he did speak truth. Truth always gets a certain type of reaction, and this is one of them, one user wrote. Another added, Steve, you are not winning this one, man. The people love Katt, and Katt did not tell a lie. As for Williams' fiery criticism, he accused Harvey of stealing his jokes from other comedians. So this just goes into quotes that Katt made during Club Shay Shay. Anybody who's been living under a rock who has not seen that, I highly advise you to go to Club Shay Shay on YouTube and check out that full interview with Katt Williams. But here is some sound of Steve Harvey going at Katt Williams in response to Katt's assertions.
Hmm.
Any ass hater who is, and you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall to dress some any ass boy who ain't got shit going for himself. Now you done stopped your climb up on the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk ass. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Now, do I want to? Yes. Because I'm a human being and I'm hood. I used to be a fighter and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey ass out. I just don't have the quickness I have. But I still know how to turn my hip and shift that weight, and I'll knock your short ass out. I'll shoot your perm straight out your head. I see it.
Oh, okay. And here's a little bit of what Katt said originally.
That went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good, baby, and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have a range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't know, Katt. We might not let you drink anymore. I mean, we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol.
Oh man,
Shanna's response is still funny to me to this day. Whenever Katt was going in, but yeah, I thought that Steve was being a clown. But I'll let you go ahead and What do you make of Steve Harvey's? I don't even really know what he responded to. He basically just threatened the guy.
Yeah,
But
basically.
yeah. What do you make of what Steve said with that?
Yeah, I think that him explaining himself in expletives meant that he didn't have anything to say. Much like how that commenter said, him cussing all like that, it just proves that, he doesn't have much to stand on. So, hey, I think Steve Harvey is a funny person. I do. I think he's a funny guy. He makes me chuckle. Much like Kevin Hart, he makes me chuckle, as an individual. I think they're funny human beings. But are they good comedians? I don't think either one of them are good comedians. But I'll stick with Steve Harvey here. And I think that Steve Harvey, due to the lack of him having the ability to carry something himself, he does borrow. And he does the thing that goes on in the comedy game. Because honestly, when Katt Williams brought this up, it sparked the whole conversation of who's biting who's stealing whose jokes and stuff like that. And I didn't know it was so replete throughout the whole comedic industry that these guys are just doing this. I was very shocked about that. So for Steve Harvey to be accused of stealing jokes, stealing personas or whatever, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. So if Steve really had a leg to stand on this, he would have, in my opinion, taken the high road. But for him to reduce this down to fisticuffs just shows how irritated this actually made him. And it really struck a nerve with him. Katt Williams, and he might, we're just covering this initially. There's going to be stuff that comes out after this. Katt will unmute Trust. Katt had a comedy off, faced off against Steve Harvey. Let Katt tell it. He won that. I think that happened in Detroit or something like that. And he ran away with the show. Let Katt tell it. And the way that Steve Harvey responded here, I would say that Katt did run away with it. And I think he doesn't like Katt because Katt does have the people behind him. I'm one of them. Katt can appear unhinged at points. He can come off a bit erratic, but one thing that he does, though, as far as that industryite, he does keep it. He keeps a lot of stuff above board, and he is real as it gets for somebody who is exposed as he is, as far as like the industry and all that stuff. So he has that persona on his side. He has people on his side, and whatever he says, people are going to believe it. So, Steve, he doesn't like that. But hey, man, I believe Katt, and I stand with Katt, and I think that Steve Harvey sounded butthurt there. So he made me chuckle when I heard it. But when I heard it, I was like, damn, bro, you ain't got nothing better than that. Like, you can't actually stand up for yourself. But the Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac stuff is well documented. Him taking people's jokes is well documented. So he ain't got much to say besides, let's fight about it. But what are your thoughts on Steve Harvey? Low-key threatening Katt Williams. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Steve basically exposed Katt for being correct.
Yeah.
I don't have much to add to what you had to say. This reminded me of, it doesn't matter what your logic is. I got rings, so I'm better.
Yeah.
We talked about Magic Johnson's retort to Anthony Edwards in our first block.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I understood Magic Johnson's perturbedness with Anthony Edwards' comments, I didn't like the logic that Magic used to dismiss him, basically saying, well, I've got rings and you don't, therefore your opinion doesn't matter. To me, that's lazy. To me, that's lazy logic. You're not really addressing the veracity of what Anthony Edwards is saying. You're dismissing him and saying you ain't won nothing. And this, to me, this reminded me of that. Like, Steve Harvey didn't specifically address the veracity of any of Katt's comments. He just cussed and said he'll fight him, which to me is akin to saying, Your opinion doesn't count because you ain't won rings.
Yeah.
So like that tells me that there's some truth to what Katt's saying, because if you knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that you ain't been stealing no jokes and that all the stuff Katt Williams was saying was not correct, you wouldn't have an issue with being on that stage and publicly picking apart all the things that Katt was saying.
Agreed.
You know? Like, be articulate and
Mhm.
pick apart Katt Williams' assertions. You're a smart enough guy. If there's no truth to what Katt was saying, go ahead and pick his arguments apart. Use your facts
Right.
against his lies, according to you. But you bypassed doing any of that and went straight to just kind of being rambunctious. and so for me, I feel like there's some truth to what Katt was saying. And at the end of the day, I'm going to value the truth teller over the showman 7 days out of the week. So I don't care how much of a showman you are, or how funny you were to that crowd, or how great the delivery of some of your speech was in that moment. I'm going to value the person who's telling the truth.
Agreed.
It is what it is. And, you know, right now it's looking like Katt's telling the truth. And this is what I don't understand about these people in the celebrity space. Me, like I put myself in their shoes. Me being me, I don't care what my PR person says to me. I don't care what my publicist says to me. If I know something's not true, I'm going to jump at the opportunity to dispel what is being said against me if I know it to not be true. The only way that I'm going to walk around it is if I know that there's truth to it, but I want to save face somehow. So for someone's in Steve Harvey's position to basically just kind of become a flamethrower, it says that you're walking on eggshells and you're dancing around the central issue, which is the veracity of the specific things that Katt was saying. And for you to disregard that entirely and talk about how you're going to beat the guy up says to me that he might have been telling the truth. So that's kind of how I look at this. People in general need to understand that people aren't as dumb as you think. And if you're going to dance around the central issue, people are going to notice that.
Yep.
Okay, well, all of that doohickery and inception is all cool, but can you please address what Katt was talking about?
Please.
Yes. And if you cannot do that, I at that point have no choice but to assume that what Katt was saying was true.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people think that they can pull that over on people, and people aren't that dumb. And that's why people's careers take a hit, because essentially you start looking like a liar or a phony at the very least. So I would say good luck to Harvey in this instance. But if you're not going to address what the man says specifically, you're just going to look like you're dancing around the issue, and that's going to cause you to look like a phony. And good luck to your career at that point.
Yeah, man. Well said, bro. So to Steve Harvey and everybody that was at that man unit convention laughing with him, y'all can kick rocks, man. This is 2 years in a row, man. Invest Fest. We covered the Diddler last year.
Yeah.
I guess trying to get out ahead of the allegations, talking about all this empowerment stuff. So they're booking the Diddler. They're booking Mr. Potato Head. Lord have mercy. Who are they going to have next year? Plaz.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So, Mr. Steve Harvey, you can take your Mr. Potato Head mustache and get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah. People see right through that, man. If you're not going to address what people said, then no one's going to believe whatever it is that you have to say. So,
Team Katt.
Yeah. Katt is still looking like the prophesier at this point. And if anyone wants to dispel that, address what the man is talking about. It's simple. You know, it's simple. Shouts out to Katt, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Katt.